I'm Killer B. I have opinions, and I have pizza, so I made opinion pizza. For the pizza, I have Pizza Hut's Ultimate Cheesy Bites Pizza. That's a tasty look for a tasty pizza. Ultimate Cheesy Bites Pizza is a pretty good choice if you want a stuffed crust pizza, but you want it a bit different. Since this is my first video, I decided to keep things simple with only pepperoni. Hopefully in the future I'll be brave enough to add more toppings to the pizzas and maybe even making good videos. Out of the three big chains, Pizza Hut, Papa John's, and Domino's, Pizza Hut is probably my favorite. Either that or Papa. It really depends on my mood. Not as an insult, but Pizza Hut to me kind of feels like junk food pizza. It just feels like the kind of pizza that you would have when you invite a group of friends over to watch, say, a Godzilla movie, or just do something fun, maybe even a little silly. I suppose it's fitting since Pizza Hut is owned by the Yum Corporation, which also owns Frito-Lay's and Pepsi, two very junk foody brands. I know this is just manipulation by marketing firms, but Pizza Hut definitely does feel like the fun brand. Papa has like an image of quality, something better, and Domino's kind of feels like more of an everyman sort of pizza, I suppose. But Pizza Hut is definitely fun. I participated in the Book It program shown here on a pair of breasts, and there was this really cool PlayStation 1 demo disc that had awesome games on it, well, demos for games like Crash Bandicoot Warped, Medieval, Gran Turismo. It blew my mind when I was 8 years old. Had this awesome heavy metal music and a cool CGI intro of a pizza spinning at ridiculous speeds and exploding. Actually, I didn't have a PlayStation. I still had a Sega Genesis and a Super Nintendo, but I played the demo disc on my cousin's PlayStation. It was just really mind-blowing to see what this new 32-bit 3D polygonal CD-based system can do. Going from Super Mario World and Sonic the Hedgehog to Metal Gear Solid made for an awesome childhood memory. I have some really good memories tied to that demo disc. And let's not forget the cross promotion with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yeah, I know the first movie from 1990 showed Michelangelo with a Domino's pizza, but if I had to associate one chain with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, it'd definitely be Pizza Hut. I should probably stop talking about the chain and get back to talking about the pizza. It's really a gamble as to whether you'll get a good pizza from Pizza Hut. And it only seems to come in two extremes as well, either quite good or quite bad. As you can tell from this pizza footage, this is from the good Pizza Hut. There are a good amount of pepperoni slices on there, enough to where you actually taste the pepperoni, but not too much to where the whole pizza is just grease and grossness. And as you might expect, this pizza is cheesy. And I'm not just talking about the pizza bites. There is a lot of cheese on this pizza, and different kinds of cheese too. A really nice cheese blend. There's a good amount of sauce on this pizza too. I didn't have to use the extra sauce option in the create a pizza tool. The only real negative thing I can say about this pizza is that the crust isn't all that good. Obviously, the cheesy bites part of the crust is good, but the main part of the crust underneath the sauce, cheese, and toppings is just serviceable. To compare it to the stuffed crust pizza again, the outer edge is quite good, but the part of the crust that's underneath the toppings, I suppose you can call it the main crust, I guess, it's just nothing to write home about or make a YouTube video about in this case. Last note on the pizza, the cheesy bites are just really good. Especially when you really dunk them in marinara sauce like you see here. Every time I get a stuffed crust, or in this case a cheesy bites pizza, I get extra marinara sauce. Well, that's enough about the pizza. Let's get to the opinion part of the video. I actually wanted to do a different topic for this first video, but I'm afraid that if I do that topic first, most people won't care about this topic and they'll move on to something else. Alita Battle Angel is just fucking awesome. It's probably one of the best comic book adaptations to be made. It's quite faithful to the source material while feeling original. It was able to please both hardcore and casual fans. It was able to even bring in new fans because it was so accessible to your average moviegoer. The storytelling was really tight too, very concise. Robert Rodriguez, Lita Kalogridis, and obviously James Cameron have managed to take 3 novels worth of the original story and a bit from the sequel Last Order and cram them into a movie just over 2 hours long. And it also at times felt like a 90s movie. I can't really put my finger on it enough to describe it, but I think it's the direction, character designs, and just a general cyberpunk environment that makes it feel like that it could have been made in the 90s. It's a strange feeling to watch an amazing film that I didn't even think was going to happen due to Avatar 2 not even being made yet and still being pissed off. And as you probably guess, it's because of all the controversy and bullshit surrounding it. Unfortunately, it got pitted with Captain Marvel, which that matchup will probably go about as well as an actual fight between Alita and Captain Marvel. Normally that wouldn't be such a big problem, as now every movie has to compete with the newest Marvel thing. But unfortunately, Captain Marvel was embroiled in political horse shit, and it dragged Alita Battle Angel with it. A lot of the discourse surrounding both movies just became this political mosh pit and absolute shit show. I don't care about what Brie Larson said, nor do I really care about how Alita Battle Angel has liberal subtext throughout the movie. I read comics and watch the movies based on them to escape the farce that is American politics, not to embrace it and be reminded of it. If for some reason you're watching this video and haven't seen Red Letter Media's Captain Marvel video, there's a good section a few minutes long describing the whole situation about what Brie Larson said. I think it pretty much sums up my opinion. Discounting the political shit, seeing these two movies pitted against each other was really frustrating. I don't see why there are 2 camps for these movies. The audience for them is roughly the same. It's entirely possible for one person to like Captain Marvel and Battle Angel. And as if the Captain Marvel clash wasn't enough, Alita Battle Angel is also being blamed for Dark Phoenix flopping. I haven't seen Dark Phoenix. Frankly, I haven't seen an X-Men movie since X-Men Origins. After that turd, I just checked out. I think this is just the same blame game nonsense that happens every time a film flops. This time it's even more nonsense, as the film got pushed back to a summer date, which was supposedly why it flopped. I'm not going to pretend like I know everything about the box office, but I doubt Alita had much, if anything, to do with it. The film was originally going to be a 2-parter, which makes sense considering that the original story arc for Phoenix in the X-Men comic books came in 2 parts, the Phoenix Saga and the Dark Phoenix Saga. This could lead to an opportunity to have concise, compact storytelling like Alita Battle Angel does, but the cynic in me suspects that the movie will just be a jumbled mess trying to shove too much into too little time. And a quick look at the reviews on Rotten Tomatoes seem to suggest that's exactly what happened. Speaking of Rotten Tomatoes scores, I think that's the real stake through the heart of this film. Yeah, the audience score is much higher than the critic score, but the audience score gets nowhere near as much attention as the critic score when people talk about Rotten Tomatoes. I've seen a film's critic scores on the front of DVDs and Blu-rays, but never an audience score. Not that I really paid much attention to Rotten Tomatoes, but unfortunately those scores do impact the movie's audience turnout. Similar fate befell Godzilla King of the Monsters, which came out a little earlier, though it wasn't as bad as what happened to Dark Phoenix. It got a 41% on the site, whereas Dark Phoenix only had a 23%. The film was still negatively impacted from those Rotten Tomatoes scores, which is a damn shame because I thought it was really good. Unlike Godzilla, Dark Phoenix is part of a franchise that has a history of terrible film reviews. And just terrible movies in general. I mean, like I said, I checked out after X-Men Orange's Wolverine. I shit on the Marvel movies, but at least when you go to one of those, you can expect a certain level of quality. With X-Men, it's all over the place. And that's also a shame because the X-Men are just better than Avengers, in my opinion. Maybe I'll do an opinion piece on X-Men versus Avengers, and not just the comic, although the comic is awesome. Ironically, I think I've talked more about Dark Phoenix than I have about Battle Angel, but I think that just goes to show that just having the release date being pushed back a few months isn't the only factor in the film's poor performance. I would say that everything I just talked about has just led to a general lack of consumer confidence in these films. Also, now that Disney owns Fox, we know that the X-Men will show up rebooted in the Marvel Cinematic Universe anyway. I'm willing to bet a lot of people just didn't care about this film. But back to Alita. I didn't think the film was going to be an absolute box office success, an absolute smash hit. I did expect it to do a bit better though, not just sort of break even. I originally thought, and as of right now still hope, that the movie will find more success on Blu-ray, DVD, and streaming platforms. I know I'm trying to do my part. I already bought the full Blu-ray set, and I'm looking into getting some Alita merchandise. I don't know if I can afford that kick-ass statue, but I'm sure I can get something. I think Alita is going to be more of a cult movie with a smaller but much more dedicated fan base. We're already seeing that if Reddit is anything to go by. Well, I'm done with this pizza and I'm done talking about Alita, so I guess I'll just clean up. I hope you enjoyed the video and you think enough of it to leave a comment down below. Obviously, if you really liked the video, I want you to share it around. But if you really hated the video, you should still share it. Go, this guy's an absolute jackass that doesn't know what he's talking about. He's so terrible. You should watch it. You gotta watch it to believe it. Yeah, you should do that. Hopefully I'll see you in a couple weeks where I'll be eating a Papa John's pizza and I'll have a tripod. Thanks for watching.